The winner of the 2015 International Costa Prize for Poetry is Mr. Jonathan Edwards. He also teaches English at our school. I'm going over to meet him in his classroom to discuss his book, My Family and Other Superheroes, and to find out what inspires his work.
This is anatomy. These shoulder blades are Snowdon, the Brecon beacons. Walk gently on them. This spine is the A470. These palms are Ebu, Y, Sahawi. This tongue is Henry VIII's active union. These lungs, pneumoconiosis. These rumbling guts, the Gurnos. This neck, Dick Penderyn. This manner of speaking is my children's children. These vital organs are Nye Bevan. This liver, Richard Burton. This blood, my father. These eyes have been underground for generations. Now they're adjusting to the light. This gap-toothed smile is the Severn Bridge, seen from the English side.
So I suppose the logical question is, when did you first start writing?
It was when I was at university, so I had this amazing sort of inspirational group of teachers at university. I was at Warwick and did creative writing, and they were incredibly sort of supportive with poetry and really encouraging. So it was really that time and those people who sort of gave me my sense of vocation, you know, and gave me something that I really wanted to spend my life doing.
So what is it about poetry which specifically attracts you?
Well, I suppose I'm rubbish at all the others, is one answer. I tried plays for a while, and they were not very good. Prose and things like that always seems like a bit of an effort. And I always think that poetry is like the form of language which aspires to be music, you know, that's very aware of kind of sounds and rhythms and rhymes. So I love all of that sort of side of it, really.
It's interesting you talk about music, because having read a lot of your poems, I actually live in Newport myself, and I wouldn't say that Newport's a very musical place. So what is it about Newport which inspires you to write poetry, because it's prevalent in a lot of your poetry?
Newport is interesting because of what's happened there in the last 20 years, the way that it's turned from this kind of incredibly sort of bustling metropolis, even though now it's changed from a town into a city. The high street has kind of, you know, gone downhill. It's not the place that it was 20 years ago. And in some ways it's kind of representative of the way that the high street has gone throughout Britain, you know, in the past 20 years. And it's got this amazing sort of like faded, tarnished glamour for me, Newport, the kind of place that no one would necessarily celebrate. And for me, I love it for that reason, as well as the history of the place, you know, this incredible kind of working class history of dissent, which I just love.
Chartist mural, John Frost Square, Newport. This tunnel is the way from one place to another, shortcutting from the station. You pass these men, flattened by history to a busker's backdrop, marching for centuries towards the west gate they will never reach. And bottom right, these three, forever dying, are bleeding from their mouths, their hearts, red tiles. This tunnel is the way from one time to another, the school trip boy who stays for a morning at the unmoving men, their fault line features and their jigsawed jaws make sketches in his head he'll never finish. King's men fire in the slowest bullets in the world at those whose screens shatter their faces into pieces. This tunnel traps the wind, makes catwalk models of the men chasing Monday morning through it. Bank workers, weekend deserters, with long memories in their laptops. Now this tramp, his duvet growing from his chin, wondering how he got here, wakes face to face with the universal manhood suffrage banner. These bits and pieces men look at each other.
So how did you feel about the Chartist mural being taken down? How did you react to that?
Well, I just thought it was horrific because, I mean, for me, that was our annual school trip. The comp that I went to, that was our annual school trip. Go and look at the mural, you know, and do some sketches and so on of it. And it was just like this incredibly moving, realist artwork. I loved these martyrs kind of bleeding to death, and it's just so graphically portrayed in these kind of tiles and so on.
Would you say there's anything at this school that's inspired your poetry?
This lady from The Guardian was asking me, you know, why I don't write about teaching, and I think that I mean the pupils who got incredibly inspirational, and I think that teaching makes me really happy, you know, and I think it gives you the energy that you need to take on something else in your life. So yeah, I mean just the experience of being here and the mood of the pupils, all of that is something that definitely drives you forward.
Mm-hmm. What advice would you give to students or other young people who'd like to be poets in the future?
I think the thing to do is just to keep at it and never to give up. It's incredibly competitive. You have to be willing to have lots of people reject your work. I could sort of wallpaper my house with the number of rejection slips, you know, and you have to be sort of willing to go through that and keep with it. And I suppose it's like anything else, isn't it? You've got to love it and you've got to enjoy it for the process of it and for what it is. And yeah, just resilience really is more important than anything else, but it's just kind of sticking with it and keeping going.
Oh, that's lovely. Well, thank you so much for speaking to us, and we wish you every success in the future.
Thank you, a pleasure.